Hey, how you doing out there in YouTube land? This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, today is the day that we're gonna look at my entire ENTIRE Voyager collection. Cold Steel Voyager collection. These are all my Cold Steel Voyagers from the original Cold Steel company. These are the OGs. These are some of my first loves. The Tilites, then came the Voyagers, then came the AK-47, then came the Recon 1s, then came the Tau Wars and Holdouts. Pretty much in that order. But these are my mainstay favorites. They've always been my mainstay favorites, and we're going to talk about all these today. First off, we're going to start off with this one's working. This is a worker. Goes to work with me every day. My AUS-10A, Japanese AUS-10A, large Tonto Voyager. This one's a worker. And just to show you, my worker's a shark. I don't believe in keeping dull knives. When they get dull, I stop using them and then I resharpen them. I'll never carry dull knives. Absolutely love this knife. Like I said, I got into the triads right after I got into the, well, actually I've been carrying the Tilites for several years before the triads came out. But the first Cold Steel knives that I bought besides my original Archangels, the Balisons, and then I got the Tilites, and then I got into the Voyagers. And my first Voyager was this one. This was my very first triad folding knife. It's an Oz-8A. As you can see, the blade's been polished, so you know it's been heavily used. Got polished edge. The labeling is kind of faded because it's been polished. Good scratches out of it. I carried this one just about every day for years. I don't even know how many years. Because I used it up until recently. They're always sharp. Absolutely love it. And this is what led me into buying more triads. This was the first triad. And after that, it was on like Donkey Kong. But this one I bought to use, and at the same time I bought this one to collect. This is the same type one. You know, if I'm going to use one, I collect one also. And this is Oz-8 also. It's never been used. From whenever they first came out. I can't remember what year it was. I bought this one at the same time. I bought the entire set, but I sold the what do you call it, the clip blade version of this. I used to have a clip blade also, but I sold it to one of my brothers I ride motorcycles with. He wanted it. He liked it. He likes Cold Steel knives too, and he loves my collection. He always buys knives off of me. Just like a couple other brothers that I ride with. But anyway, those are those. There's a BD1. Now, the reason why I always have more Tontos is because I actually carry the Tontos. I don't carry the Vaqueros. I don't carry the clip blades. I don't carry the Kris blade one. The one I carry is the Tontos. Tontos. I love Tontos. I love the Cold Steel Tonto, the American Tonto. It's one of my favorite blades that they've ever made. is their Tontos. And you guys know that. You guys know all my, just about all my cold steel fixed blades are Tontos. I also like the Outdoorsman, that blade shape too. But this is the CTS BD1. And I bought that when these came out to replace this one. And I carried it for a while. Then the Oz 10s came out. And this is what I carry now. This is the one that gets carried now. I've never stopped carrying the large Tonto Voyager or the extra large Tonto Voyager. I've always carried one of those too, every day. The extra large Tonto Voyager rides in my bug out pack in my trunk of my car. And this one rides in a hip holster, or whatever you call it, hip sheath or whatever. And I usually carry that on my own. Either I carry it on my person or I'll carry it on the fanny pack. Fanny pack's what I always like to carry when I ride the bike, because I could carry all my junk in the fanny pack and I can zip it up. It's secured, and so I don't have to worry about falling out my pocket or whatever. That's just me. That's just me. Y'all do what you want to do. But I'm not a bagger person, so I don't have the big old hard saddle bags. I do have one little side bag on my Harley, and I use that. But that's really just like, I don't know, for putting your gloves in, or like a spare helmet, like a little spare beanie helmet or whatever. It'll fit right in there, and I could put gloves or whatever. So if I ever give somebody a ride or something like that, I always have a helmet for them. That's basically what I use it for. And then I got a tool pouch that I put on the front of my apes, in between the apes and the headlight. And that I use a lot, and I'll put all sorts of stuff in that, like, you know, stuff that I want to carry. Then that's really where you use for my personal things, like gloves and whatever I want to carry or whatever. And that's how I ride my bike. Sometimes I wear a backpack if I'm gonna go get some groceries or something. But yeah, I've never had a bagger. I've always had the stripped down bobber type bikes. But that's what I like. That's me. I like bikes that look, you know, a little bit rugged, a little bit used. I don't like things that look brand new and look like like you could just go down to the store and buy one. I like things that look like, you know, it's got your own personality into it. My bike I've had since 2007. And I rebuilt it in 2009. Made it a custom bike. But anyway, let's get back to what we're doing here. This one is the one that rides in my bug out bag. It's the Oz 10. Oz 10. Extra large Tonto. I'm going to go through these really quick. No need to spend a whole lot of time on them. This is CTS BD1. I'm just showing you my whole collection. These are all the Voyagers that I have. I don't have any more than these. These are it. This is the original one I bought. It's an Oz 8. All the Tontos have been carried. The rest of them haven't been carried, except for a couple of these. This one. I carried this one a couple of times. Never carried these. These are total collectors. Oh, this one's been carried a lot. But anyway, we'll get back to that. Vaquero. It's the original Vaquero. It's Oz 8. Never bought another one except for the collectible one. Because I have a bunch of Vaqueros, as you'll see here. But they're all the older ones, though. I always just collected the Vaqueros because Lindsey Thompson, that's his favorite Voyager. Clip blade, this original one, full flat ground. Oz 8. The new Kris, this is Oz 10. And this is a collectible Lindsey Thompson Vaquero, serrated Vaquero. That's the way he likes them. This has always been his favorite knife that he used to always carry. You always had one of these on them. Not exactly like this one though. This one's the collector's edition. That's CTS-XHP steel. Same thing with this one. This is the Rawls Voyager. Is that right? And he was a survival blog person. I think it's called the Rawls, if I'm not mistaken. And it's the CTS-XHP 50/50 blade, partially serrated. Yeah, I just got that just to be a collector. These were just bought just to be collectors. They've never been used. And then this one, this was the big one. The Vaquero Grande. From back in the day. I don't even know what year this is. I know it's the 2000s. I think these are the ones that they were making before they made these. These were the pre-Triad Voyagers. Voyager Vaqueros. Made in Japan. All these are serrated. The ones I have anyway. This is the one without the pocket clip. This one has a pouch. It comes with the cold steel pouch. It's meant to be carried in a pouch. This is the VG1. This is a VG1 one made in Japan. Never carried these, I just collected these. And I didn't buy these when they were first making them. I was buying got into the Triads, and then I wanted to try out what the old ones were like. And they still had these in the store when I bought these. Just like, like they still have leftovers, but they're not making them no more. And that's when I bought these. All these were bought during that period of time when they were transitioning from going into the regular lockback. And this lockback's a really good lockback too. And these knives are really nice because they're big and they're really lightweight. So, these are highly desirable too, even still. And, but the Triads had already come out, and the Triads were phasing out all of these. And a lot of people were saying, well, I'd rather like these handles better than the blocky Triad handles, and blah, 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 blah. And they were going back and forth, and everybody said in the blogs that, no, these are better, and no, other people would say, no, these are better. And then they would have the Andrew Demko testing and the weight testing, the weight hangs. Say, okay, we like the Triads. But it was a pretty cool period of time. And that was like 2008, 9, and 10, all those years, pretty much, when that was going on. But anyway, where were we at? Okay, I showed you the Vaquero Grande, and this one I used to carry all the time. I haven't carried it in a long time though. But you can see by the pocket clip. I used to like to take it fishing with me all the time. Awesome little fishing knife. But this one I actually used a lot. All these others I never really used. I carried them a couple of times. I carried this one a couple of times, and I think I carried this one a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken. But I think I might have carried this one too. I can't remember. Oh yeah, I did carry it. I could tell by the pocket clip. Okay. That one I never carried. And this one I carried too. I could tell by the pocket clip. That's one thing about black pocket clips. So, when you do carry things a lot, they get worn. But anyway. That was the VG1 one. I showed you guys that. Here we go. Clip blade. This is a beautiful clip blade. It's a hollow ground clip blade. And these were 5-inch blades. And I always thought that was a beautiful size. I don't know why Cold Steel stopped making the 5-inch. I sort of like it better than the 5.5-inch because as far as like carrying it is concerned, an 11-inch knife is not so hard to carry. But when you start going bigger than that, that's when they start getting harder to carry and harder to conceal. And they start weighing too much. But look at that. Beautiful blade. This was a very beautiful blade. This is a VG1 blade. Japanese blade. Seiki, Japan. Yep, made in Japan. VG1 stainless. Voyager. And this one, I never knew what kind of steel this one was because it's not marked. I mean, it just says Voyager made in Japan. But it doesn't say what kind of steel, stainless steel it is, and cold steel on this side. So this one could possibly be Oz 8 too, because when cold steel was using their Oz 8, lots of times they wouldn't label the blades. So lots of times when you see unlabeled blades from cold steel out of the older knives, just assume that you can pretty much assume that they're Oz 8. For example, these are Oz 8 knives. They don't say Oz 8 on them. It just says Taiwan. Now, cold steel, when they first started coming out with the BD1s, that's when they started labeling them. All the knives that are Voyagers pre-BD1s aren't labeled, as far as like the Voyagers are concerned. Now AK-47s, they labeled those blades, and Tylites, they labeled those blades. But on lots of their knives, they didn't label the blades, especially like their working knives. And the Voyagers, I think, are considered to be like the budget working knives. But to me, I think they're an awesome knife. I don't care that they have the plastic handles or whatever. The blades are awesome. And cold steel, even the Oz 8 knives are nice. And I carried those, you know, probably more out of any of these, especially this one right here. And you know, this one taught me how to sharpen knives, though. I got to tell you that, though. You know, that's how I learned how to sharpen knives, was with Oz 8 stainless steel from cold steel, because it would hold an edge for a while, but if you ever cut anything that was like hard or anything, if the blade ever hit anything that was hard, like if the wood was too hard, it might roll the edge a little bit, and so then you have to, you know, learn how you have to strop it back out and all that kind of stuff and touch it up a little bit, but. They were always easy to resharpen, though. It's like they don't chip, they just roll. And so you can always repair the edge. But anyway, absolutely love these. Absolutely love these. Well, since it's April 1st, it's a good day for April Fools! The real reason why I put all these out, I want to talk about these, is because it's time for a video on my Voyagers. Doing the unboxing today. That's right, I never unboxed this one. It's my Ultimate Hunter CTS-XHP. Won it in an eBay auto. Absolutely love it. And this is my first GSM cold steel Voyager. Brand new for 2021, this month. Blade center nicely. Trying to figure out how thick this looks. A little bit thinner. No, I guess they're the same, so it's probably 4mm. They're probably the same. It's like, you know, I don't know if it, you know, sometimes cold steel calls it 3.8mm, and sometimes they call it 4mm. But all the original Voyagers, the extra larges, they're always called 4mm, so that's what we're going to call it, 4mm. Has a good weight to it, too. Ooh, I like it. It looks like a Filipino standard blade. Or a clip blade. Looks like a Filipino blade. That's what it reminds me of. I had to pull out some of my old balisons. I have some balisons that are from the Philippines that my buddy Daniel Chua, he made for me. He lives in he's a Filipino and he lives in the Philippines, and he makes knives. I haven't heard from him in years. I'm going back into the 80s and 90s now. And he made a whole bunch of Philippine ballad songs for me, custom made for me. And because we were friends and we used to like to play video games on the internet together. We always hook up on the internet and play video games. This is when computers first came out. I'm taking you way back into the 90s and 80s. But we used to play, what was it? Diablo. Diablo, that's what we used to play. And he'd have all of his relatives in the Philippines, and we'd all get together at certain times, and we go on missions together, all of us together. And that's how we became friends. And then I found out that he made ballad songs, and that's how I found out about Blade Auction. I don't think it exists anymore. It was ran by PVK. I absolutely love it. That is an awesome blade. It's got a continuous curve. This one's going to be good for cutting. You guys will see me use this one. This will be a great knife for fishing. It'll be good for filleting sardines, making cut bait. That's what you're going to see it do. This one will get used. I like this one. I might get another one. You know me, when I like something, I gotta collect one and use one. This one's gonna probably get used because I really like the way this blade's made. I like spear point blades anyway. I like the spear point clip blades or drop points or whatever you call them. You know, there's several names for them. This one looks like a Filipino blade style to me. It looks like it's more like adapted from a Filipino fighting knife. Because their fighting knives, they use them for everything. Like this blade shape, it's a common blade shape that they use for for utility purposes, like cutting up meat and everything else like that. Their food, food prep, and they use it for chopping down bamboo or whatever, whatever they need to use it for. And self-defense. And they make them out of spring steel. Now the old military vehicles that they find. That's what Daniel used to tell me. Makes some really good steel. And they highly polish it. I'll pull them out and show them to you and compare it to this blade so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But this is beautiful. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I definitely have to get another one of these because that one is awesome. That's awesome. It comes with the extra pocket clip. You guys already know the specs on them, right? Let's see what the specs say. Blade length, 5.5 inches. Steel, Oz 10A. Weight, 8 ounces. Blade thickness, 4 millimeters. So it is 4 millimeters. Listed as 4 millimeter. Handle length, 6 3/4 inches. Handle material, Griv-Ex. And it's also got, it should also have, let me see if it's made the same way. Oh yeah. Heat treated 6061 aluminum liners, and they're full liners. They're embedded inside the Griv-Ex handle. Looks like it's made just like the way that they've always made them. I'd be willing to bet on it. Only thing that's different is the blade. Let's compare the handles. Let you guys see that. Let me move all this stuff out the way. I think the only thing that's different is the blade. They're using the same handles. They even feel the same. I'm just comparing all the screws and screw holes, and it looks the same to me. I think these parts are swappable. It's just a different blade shape. That's the only thing that's different. And I love the blade shape. It's like a Filipino clip blade. That's a really nice blade. Really nice. Well, now we know what the 5.5 inch looks like. Yeah, let's leave this one open, huh? You can sit on top of these others. Now we know what that one looks like. Let's see what's in this box. Ooh, another box. Okay, this one's coming from eBay. eBay. Maybe I don't even need a knife for this one. Looks like I could just pull it open. Yeah, right. All right. Keep on for. This seller must have a store or something. 10% off. I have to check into that. I like 10% off. All right, totally sealed up. It's never been opened. Bam. Yes. As you guys know, I've had this one for a while. I was just waiting to get one of these, to get a good deal on one of these. And I found one on eBay. You had to make your best offer, and I made my best offer, and he accepted my offer, so got a good deal on it. Still, I paid like $10 more than I would have paid if Midway would have had theirs in. Because Midway still doesn't have their stuff in. I've been trying to wait on Midway, because I don't want to spend outrageous prices everywhere else for things, because the Midway prices are proper. Those prices are okay with me. The prices that they're asking for the cold steel products, the new cold steel products, are perfectly fine with me. I think that's what they should be. I don't have a problem with their prices. Comes with an extra pocket clip, like they always do. And this is the large. Ooh, that was smooth. Oh, we didn't check the centering, huh? Centering's perfect. Always Voyagers tend to always be like well made. I don't know why. There's hardly. I've never had a Voyager that had a flaw. And as you see, I have a lot of Voyagers, and none of these have never been flawed. They were always perfect. Now I've gotten other knives before that were flawed. I got a Tau War one time that was flawed. My first Tau War that I bought, the XL. But all the small Tau Wars were always perfect. But I did have a bad XL. And what else? I had a bad large Espada one time with the CTS-XHP one, and I sent it back, and that's how I got that one with the green handles, because it was a black one with black handles I sent back, and they sent me back one with green handles because they didn't have any more ones with black handles. So. Let's see. And I had a bad extra large Espada that was an Oz 8, and sent that one back, and they sent me back the CTS-XHP one. That's how I got this black CTS-XHP extra large Espada. Came from Cold Steel. But that is a nice knife. That is a really nice knife. Really nice set of knives there. These two, I think, are very, very, very usable knives. I can see these being used for everything, for hunting, fishing, camp work. You know, they're flat ground blades, so they're strong blades. But they're not totally flat ground. They got like a little bit of saber, you know, they got a reinforced spine, so it should be a fairly strong blade too. Now, not a pry bar. I wouldn't use these as pry bars. Even though they are thick, I wouldn't call them pry bar knives. So, not any knife that has a high flat ground and doesn't have a reinforced tip from the center, I wouldn't use that for prying. But these are real good knives for people that need knives for cutting things, for actual cutting purposes, and you know, being tools and doing chores and hunting and fishing or camp use or whatever. But they also can be survival weapons self-defense tools, should I say, self-defense tools, and be used for that too, because you know that's always been the main purpose behind these handles. These handles are meant to be fighters. You have the extended grip in the back, so it could be good for either being like a machete or chopping, or extend your grip for self-defense, making your weapon longer. And the Voyager extra large grips are always been some of my favorite grips out of all the Mega folders from Cold Steel. I love these grips, and I love the Tau War grips because of the fact that you can extend like that and still have a nice, strong, secure grip. Because like on a lot of the knives that you can extend on, you don't really have a strong, secure grip. See, that holds you in there. So you really have a really nice grip. It's one of the things I always liked about the Voyagers. Sure, they're not made out of the super duper best materials, but the build, this knife, Andrew Demko tested it, and it held up to 450 pounds. It didn't mean break, it just won the contest. Going up with the knife that was going up against. So who knows how much it can hold. So this is a very strong knife. Very good knives. Absolutely love them. Highly recommend them. Beautiful blades. These are some of the nicest ones I think they've made in a long time, because these are actually very usable. Smart move, GSM. Smart move. Smart move. My first two GSM folders. I mean, not folders, but because I have the tie light, the Kris's, but the first two GSM Voyager folders, should I say. Voyager folders. There they are. And they're absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. The finish on them is really beautiful. It looks just like the old finish. It looks like they're made in the same factory. I think they're still using the Taiwan factory. The same Taiwan factory, because it looks like the same quality. Let's see how sharp they are real quick. Oh, I'm cutting 2 pieces of paper. The whole edge is sharp. Wow, that's awesome. Oh yeah. You have fresh mix paper. Looks good. Cold Steel Voyagers. The new GSM Cold Steel Voyagers. They rock. These absolutely rock. I absolutely love them. They rock. They're real Voyagers. They're not imposters. They're the real deal. Now, what they did to the Recon 1, I'm not even going to go there because they messed up with the Recon 1, if you ask me. But the Voyagers, they knocked these out the ballpark. That's about all I got for you today. Hope y'all doing okay out there. Peace out. Stiletto.